is Tuesday morning, and this is the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. I'm your host, Keith Gibson, here every Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. It is Protect and Serve Tuesday, and with me is Piatt County Sheriff's Deputy and School Resource Officer, Lindsey Bross. And Lindsey, welcome to the show.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going great, and we got rid of your husband, Chief Rob. We gave him a week off. We have you in because we think it's important to talk to you as an SRO for the Monticello schools and kind of things that you're seeing to help parents out. And I think it's important for them to be able to listen and hear that. So let's talk about where you kind of got started.
So I started SRO about 6 years ago. I have specific training for it. I am a juvenile officer. Every 2 years I have to get recertified in like certain different areas. I'm also certified through NASRO, which is the National Officers School Resource Officer Association. That's where I got my SRO training from. And then every now and then I'm able, I go through conferences with them to get training. And then I also am ILSROA. So we go through conference through them too. So I have a lot of training.
You have a lot of training,
Yeah.
too, but it's important to have that training.
Yes.
How long have you been a deputy?
I've been a deputy now for 12 and a half years.
That's a long
so
time.
now it's half has been a deputy and half has for SRO.
But you do both too, right?
I do both. So I always get the question of, what do you do when school's not out? And I just go back to the road, whether it's like last Tuesday or Monday was Martin Luther King Day.
Right, yeah.
So I worked the road then, and then Tuesday, because it was so cold, I worked the road again that day.
Because there's no school.
Because there's no school. So anytime there's no school, I just go back to patrol. So it's like, I feel it's a nice thing of both worlds. Like,
Right.
I get to work with kids and then the school setting, and then every now and then I still get to go on a patrol setting and don't forget my roots type of thing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. So 12 and a half years. And you are six and a half, right? You said?
Yeah, so 6.
As SRO?
Yeah, 6. Yep.
6 years as SRO, all here at Monticello.
So I actually go to several different school
Okay,
districts.
that's a great
Yes.
question. Where do you, tell you what, hold that thought.
Yes.
Let's find out exactly where you go.
Okay.
And what you do as an SRO. When we come back here in a little bit, we've got Piatt County Sheriff Deputy Lindsey Bross with us, and she is the SRO, and we're going to find out exactly where she's the SRO at here in a little bit. Stay with us here on the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. It's the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on this Protect and Serve Tuesday on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. I'm Keith Gibson, your host, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here at Clubhouse217.com. And my guest today is Piatt County Sheriff's Deputy Lindsey Bross. And Lindsey, you have been a deputy for 12 and a half years, SRO, School Resource Officer, for 6. You're also the better half, and I say much better half, to our guest.
Too. Yes, yeah.
Last 2 weeks in Monticello Police Chief Rob Ross, and you both give a lot back to this community. But being an SRO, you go through a lot of training, you go through a lot, you see a lot, you hear a lot.
Yep.
You're not just here in Monticello, though. Where all are you at?
So I actually started at 4 different school districts when I first started. I went to D-Land. I went to, obviously, here in Monticello, B-Mint, and Cerro Gordo. During one of my ALICE training scenarios for D-Land, it was brought up to them if you had an active shooter event. It could potentially take a little bit to get to your school because they're unfortunately sometimes in the middle of nowhere, and a deputy might be, for sure, we know generally like maybe at Monticello or something, we know for sure, or Farmer City. It's still going to take 5 to 8 minutes if it's a nice day. So they were looking at that, and they decided to get their own school resource officer. So now D-Land has just the one, and now I just go to Monticello twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, and then I go to B-Mint once a week and Cerro Gordo School District once a week. Sometimes I switch between going there twice a week.
So you stay busy.
Yes.
So you're not just in one place. You
Nope.
see a ton of different kids.
Yes, I do.
That's awesome. And what is one of the most joys you get out of being SRO?
I love just the kids just coming up, giving me a hug, like, you know, very basic stuff, like, I want to be like you, you know, type of thing. Like, I get kids that tell me, like, I want to be like what you do when I grow up. In fact, I'm talking to these, like, to kids that are about to graduate high school, they're like, I want to wear the uniform that you are wearing. So obviously I did something right.
Right.
And, they're wanting to, continue on and follow this career profession that I enjoy immensely and love doing.
In these schools, and you do a great job at it.
Well, thank you.
My daughter even comes home and says, I saw Miss Lindsey. I said, well, that's great. That's great. I mean,
I bribed
them
with stickers, yeah.
Yeah. Bribe them with stickers. Yeah,
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that either. But what age groups are you seeing? I mean, you're every age, kindergarten through senior in high school, right?
Yes.
It's not just the younger kids.
It's pre-K all the way up to 12th graders.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I see
every kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. So let's get into a little bit here this morning. We're going to talk about kind of technology and what you're seeing with how it affects the kids in schools, social media, the good points and the bad points, and just talk about kind of your presence and how it changes things as well. We're going to come back and talk with all that with Miss Lindsey Bross, Piatt County Sheriff's Deputy and SRO officer here in Piatt County as well, right here in the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show. Stay with us on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. You're listening to the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on this Tuesday morning on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. I'm Keith Gibson, your host Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Thank you for joining us on this Protect and Serve Tuesday. And my guest today on this Protect and Serve Tuesday is Piatt County Sheriff's Deputy and Piatt County SRO School Resource Officer, Miss Lindsey Bross, and the better half of Monticello Police Chief, Rob Bross.
Yep.
So, Lindsey, thank you for being here. Thanks for being in the studio. We talked earlier this morning about kind of where you came from, how you got started as an SRO and everything. And we talked a little bit about kind of the age of kids you see and things. But let's talk a little what you do on a daily basis.
Okay, yep. So generally, I'll start my morning, and it doesn't matter where I'm going to be at in the school district, but I always watch the school traffic because we have kids like walking to and from school, we have buses, picking up kids, dropping off kids, and unfortunately, some people don't pay attention to like a bus stop arm. So if I'm there, like I've already given out a couple of citations for people not following that rule or people not following the stop sign when they have like kids coming through and stuff like that.
A cross guard.
Yeah, cross guard, thank you.
You're welcome.
So that's pretty much what I usually do in the morning and in the afternoon. During the day, I'll walk the schools, I'll, check doors, make sure they're secure, say hi to students if I'm able to. Sometimes I'll go into a classroom. Sometimes it's just to like hang out with them, color with them, see what they're doing like in science, maybe play a PE game. So, that's like throughout the day. I'll walk the halls. I will go to a certain like lunch. So today I plan on going to like White Heath's lunch, just like talking to the kids, seeing how they're doing. That's like the best time I feel for me is to really interact with the students, just seeing how they're doing, saying hi. So I'll always do that pretty much every single day is like try to get into a lunch period. And then the rest of the day is the same thing, like walking the halls, being seen.
Right.
Seeing how just kids are doing, just saying hi, sometimes keep it basic, like how are you doing today type of thing.
And that means a lot to some of these kids, doesn't it?
Yes.
And because sometimes that's, and I hate to say this, but maybe, and tell me if I'm wrong, that may be some of the best attention they get all day long.
Correct, yeah.
And your interaction with these kids also kind of gives you a way to kind of get in and get to know them too. So if they are having issues, they can talk to you and feel comfortable with it.
Right, and I know sometimes the teachers or school admin, like I've had parents like, can you scare my kid? That's not what I'm there for. I'm not, like I will have a conversation with your kid.
Right.
And like kind of tell them like if you're going down this path, this is, the potential consequences. And I give them like, try to talk to them real life scenario, like this is what it could look like. I'm not trying to scare them or, I'm just giving them like the cold hard truth sometimes.
And sometimes truth hurts.
Yep.
It does, but it's good that you're there because if they don't hear from you, who are they going to hear it from?
Yep.
All right, let's get into, we're going to take a break.
Yep.
Come back, and we're going to talk a little bit about technology and how it affects the kids and what they do on a daily basis and what you're seeing. And we'll also talk about social media because it can be prevalent in a lot of, not so much young kids, but the older kids' lives. So we'll talk about that here later on this morning. Stay with us here on the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. It's Protect and Serve Tuesday on the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show. I'm Keith Gibson, your host, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Thanks for joining us this morning on the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. My guest today is Piatt County Sheriff's Deputy Lindsey Bross. She's also the school resource officer here in Piatt County and does a fantastic job. So if you ever hear your kids come home and say, Mom, I talked to Deputy Bross today, that's who we're talking about. And Lindsey's been giving us some great insight of kind of what she does on a daily basis. Because, Lindsey, thanks for joining us, by the way, and staying here with us this morning. But a lot of parents I don't think realize what you actually do. I think they just sit there, right?
No, definitely don't sit there. So one thing is like we kind of base on the triad model through NASRO, which is your law enforcement officer, you're kind of a teacher, and you're kind of an informal mentor. So that's kind of how I base on like how I am being an SRO. And the biggest thing is, the school, when we first started this, they wanted us to build a positive relationship with the students and obviously like keep them safe.
Right.
And that's like how I base my day every single day when I'm an SRO.
Let's talk about technology. A lot of kids, especially the younger kids, are starting to get cell phones even earlier. And they are going through a time where they have access to really everything throughout the day on their cell phones.
Yep.
Is that a problem in schools? Not necessarily with the younger kids, but I'm talking about like junior high and up.
It can be. Now, every school is a little different on when they allow them to like have their cell phone on them. But yes, it definitely can. And of course, my daughter has already been bugging me about getting a cell phone. And with my line of job, I told her, I was like, it's not happening anytime soon.
Mine's the same way.
Yeah.
She's 9. I'm like, oh, we're going to be 9. I'm like, no.
No, I've had to deal with too much, unfortunately, bad things with the cell phone. And I know, obviously a cell phone can be good, keep you safe. Like, hey, come pick me up, or I don't feel safe, or I don't feel well, or, stuff like that. Like, obviously that's good. But there's, like, obviously a double-edged sword to it.
Right.
And that's what I see the sexting, the sextortion. Those are, like, some of the biggest things. Just bullying. I mean, it's like...
It's more prevalent than people realize, isn't it?
It is very prevalent, unfortunately. And, you... As a parent, you have to have that conversation, and you have to be willing to look at your child's phone constantly. I mean, because unfortunately, technology is always changing. And even we're constantly taking classes because everything is just like changing. Like, what are the kids into, these days type of thing.
Yeah, every week.
Yeah,
it's
pretty
different
much.
trend
Yeah.
every week. It's crazy how fast that changes. And this world changes, and for you to be an SRO, that's why you have so much training, like we talked about earlier in the morning, because you have to stay on top of it to be effective, right?
Yeah. I mean, we saw how like TikTok went away for just a little bit, and it's, what is it called? Like, people were looking at Lemon 8.
Yeah.
And a couple other things were kind of like Instagram, but again through a different country. So if they're gonna find a way to like communicate with like other kids and stuff like that, but it's not like our generation where it's through Facebook. It's other things.
One thing technology and cell phones does allow, though, is if there is a emergency, an active shooter, something like that, these kids who have cell phones are able to reach out to
very quickly.
And
yes.
That's one of the good side of the double-edged sword for that reason, for protection. But the good news is you don't have to deal with that a whole lot, do you?
No, we train for it every beginning of the year. Generally, we kind of like go over like safety plans at the schools and stuff like that. So yeah, we're always training for it. I'm always, I have to get trained for it every so often too, for rapid deployment and stuff like that. So, if it ever needs to, and we hope it never does, we're constantly like training for it.
Let's talk about a little social media here later in the morning. We're going to take a quick break, get you back to the music, and we're going to come back with Piatt County Sheriff's Deputy Lindsey Bross and talk social media and how it can affect kids in the schools. Right here on the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. Back here on the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show. Thank you for joining us here on Clubhouse Lounge Radio this morning. I'm Keith Gibson, your host, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And it is Protect and Serve Tuesday. And for the first 2 weeks of the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show, we had Monticello Police Chief Rob Ross. Now, in the studio, we have his better half. And that is Piatt County Piatt County Sheriff's Deputy Lindsey Bross. And she's also the SRO here in Piatt County, the School Resource Officer. We've talked all morning, Lindsey, about kind of what you do, how you interact with the kids, what you do on a daily basis. We talk technology with cell phones. Let's talk social media, though, because these kids are getting more and more younger kids. I'm talking 3rd, 4th, 5th grader get into social media. And how is it affecting what you do on a daily basis with them? And what are things that parents can look out for?
So the biggest thing is, social media has like algorithms, like we all know that. And sometimes, especially like my daughter, she's always asking to be on certain apps. So I was like, well, let's see what it says on the age, like when you're allowed to use it. And most of the time it's like 12 or something like that. So what kids will do is they will still download an app like say Snapchat or Instagram. So they'll get around that age limit by putting say the year 2000. Well, with that algorithm, it like shows you that you're older, so you're going to be looking at older material.
Right.
So, I try to tell that to parents like all the time. It's like, even though you're allowing your kid to do it when they're younger, it's like they're gonna see this older stuff. Sometimes, the friend request, they don't even know who they are, who they're speaking to. They don't know if it's an actual kid that's their age or it could be an adult. They don't know. They just like start friending all these people and giving out all their personal information. I see it all the time.
And that's big. And then it comes back, though, to parents monitoring what these kids are doing on social media and what apps they're available to and really paying attention, because sometimes as parents, and then I'm one, you're one, you get lost in everything that's going on. And it's very important, though, to do that, because it can have an effect of what your child's doing in school, who they're friends with, what interaction they're having. There's a lot of different things that go into it. And so you, though, do they come to you a lot as the SRO and kind of tell you if something's wrong?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes it gets more around, like they might generally talk to a friend first. I see that a lot, whether it's social media issues or mental health issues, they'll talk to that friend. That friend will then like either reach out to a trusted adult, whoever that might look like. And depending on the situation, then, I might get brought in. So it just kind of like depends on each and every situation. And some just have questions, about, especially when I see them in the hallway. I'm like, do you even like know who you're talking to? And I'm like, no, not really. I'm just like, oh, well, that's not good.
Right, yeah. So it's very important to monitor things, and because it's going to create less problems down the road for that. But we've got a lot more things to cover with Piatt County Sheriff's Deputy Lindsey Bross. We're going to talk a little about how you see things moving down the road, and we're going to talk about some different schools and kind of things you talk to with your comrades as well, right here on the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. Welcome back into the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. I'm Keith Gibson, your host, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Today is Protect and Serve Tuesday, but tomorrow we've got Unity Rockets wrestling coach and Logan Patton. He is Patton-trained wrestling for Wrestling Wednesday. And then Thursday, we've got the executives from WrestleCon, which is a wrestling convention being held in Indianapolis this weekend. And then Friday, we hit the road and we take the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show for the first time on the road, as we will be in Indianapolis getting ready for this weekend's WWE Royal Rumble. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to nerd out all weekend long and be a wrestling geek, and I'm okay with it. And my wife thinks it's funny, and I know a lot of you will too, but I've been in a wrestling ring, and it's not as fake as you think. We'll get to that later on in the week, though, but today is Protect and Serve Tuesday, and I've got Piatt County Sheriff's Deputy Lindsey Bross with me, who's also the SRO. And while we were in between things, we talked all morning, but I just found out that she is the controlled tactics instructor for the sheriff's office. And Deputy Ross, tell me what that means, please.
So let's say if, it's one of the basic things is just putting handcuffs on somebody if they're getting arrested. You practice like the basic stuff too, but we also practice through scenarios, if somebody's like fighting you. So that's where my control tactics instructor comes in. Like I teach the deputies, how to take somebody down to the ground. If they're already down to the ground, how to get them the handcuffs on them. We use a little bit of, I've been through some jiu-jitsu training. I'm a black belt in Aikido. I've done judo. So, that's something I enjoy.
Now I know why Rob is in line all the time. Now I understand it.
The biggest thing is obviously, have police presence, trying to talk to somebody first. But sometimes that stuff's not going to work. So you have to be able to know how to go hands-on with somebody.
And if there's proper ways to do everything. That's what you teach them.
Yes.
So, it's not just slapping some cuffs on somebody. There's a proper way to do it. And have etiquette while doing it, even though I know sometimes you probably don't want to.
Yeah, sometimes it's ugly, taking somebody to the ground. But you got to do what you got to do sometimes,
right. So how often do you have to train for that?
Let's see. We usually try to train once, maybe twice a year. But because I'm the person I am, I train outside too a little bit if I get the time between coaching and all the other having kids and stuff like that.
Right.
So, and I am also I instruct over at the Police Training Institute, new recruits. So sometimes I go over there and
Where's that at?
That is over at the U of I.
Okay.
Yep. So I go over there and help teach the recruits the control tactics, just the beginning. Again, putting handcuffs on somebody, actually touching somebody,
But this is something that you do from beginning stages of becoming a police officer to throughout the entire time of your career, right?
Correct.
Because things change in that too, correct?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And it also tells me that I don't ever want to make you mad. But because you got all that, and you're pretty
I'll
BA.
try, I always say I'll be nice till I can't be nice anymore.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. All right, let's come back. We're almost wrapped up for the morning. We're going to come back with Piatt County Sheriff's Deputy Lindsey Bross here on Protect and Serve Tuesday for one more break here later on in the morning. So stay with us here on the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show. But for now, back to the music. Wrapping up this Tuesday edition of the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show. I'm Keith Gibson, your host, Monday through Friday. Don't forget, tomorrow it's Wrestling Wednesday with Unity Rockets head wrestling coach and Patton Trains, Logan Patton. He'll join us for talk about wrestling and their matches from the last weekend and what they've got coming up, including Senior Day coming up. Then Thursday, we welcome the executives from WrestleCon, Pro Wrestling Convention over in Indianapolis this weekend. And Friday, we hit the road, and we'll have the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show live from Indianapolis as we get ready for the WWE Royal Rumble. But today, we're finishing up with Piatt County Sheriff's Deputy Lindsey Bross. And Lindsey, I have learned so much, not just about you, that I didn't already know, but about SRO and everything that goes along with it. And you're the controlled tactics instructor as well. What's it mean to you? You do a lot of training. To do all this, you have to do a lot of training. I don't think a lot of people realize that you do as much as you do, but how important is it when you get to go with other SRO officers and you're going to train?
Yeah.
And is it important that, I'm sure it is, but I want to hear your side from where you're hearing what they're dealing with and what to look out for, because I'm sure you guys share information, right?
Yep. And, it's kind of making that connection or so we don't reinvent the wheel type of thing.
Right.
If somebody's seen something and we have yet to see it, we'll put it out in our community chat information. What'd you guys do for this?
Right.
Or how did you handle it? I dealt with something a couple of years ago dealing with AI, artificial intelligence, and not a whole lot of people were seeing, that and what that entailed. And we were just trying to figure it out.
Right.
And, so that's the biggest thing is making those connections and, see how other people are doing it and what's working and what's not working.
And it goes back to our conversation we had earlier this morning. And if you missed any of our conversation with Piatt County Sheriff Deputy Lindsey Bross, you can find it on our YouTube channel, Clubhouse 217, right there on YouTube. You'll be able to find our entire conversation later on in the week or early next week. We'll get it posted up. But it's a big to have those connections and that circle of people around you, because it's ever changing, as we talked about earlier.
It is, yeah.
What else can you say, when you go to do these trainings, the influx, and I asked Rob this last week, I want to ask you, the numbers are kind of growing a little bit, people going in to become a police officer, aren't they? And why do you think that is?
I think they're generally seeing, and this is why I got into it, like, we generally, like, want to help people. That's how I got into this profession, is like, I want to do something that, like, help people, however that may look. We deal with people not having the best day of their life. So I'm always there, I'm just trying to help. And I think most people, like, they just want to get in a profession that means something, that's trying to help people, really, is what it is. We're first responders, so we're going to be the first person there.
I feel that, 'cause that's why I do this, because I just want to make people smile, and
you
do too. And you do a fantastic
well,
job with
thank
it.
you. Yeah.
Lindsey, Deputy Lindsey Bross from the Piatt County Sheriff's Office. She's the Piatt County School Resource Officer. She does a fantastic job. The kids love her, and also you don't want to mess with her because you don't want to get on her bad side, because she knows a lot of jiu-jitsu. But thank you, Lindsey, for joining us.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you. Keep up doing what you're doing.
Oh, thanks.
All the kids love you, and we love you too. So, that is the Clubhouse Cafe morning show for this Tuesday morning. Join us the rest of the week. Don't forget, it's Wrestling Wednesday tomorrow. We got wrestling on Thursday. We got wrestling on Friday. It's the rest of the week is wrestling right here on the Clubhouse Cafe morning show. And if you missed any of today's conversation, make sure you follow our YouTube channel and follow us on social media. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the Clubhouse Cafe morning show on Clubhouse Lounge Radio.